Well, here we are for our second Friday of the fundamentals. Last week we looked at mentioned our acrostic, which we're going to begin looking at today, and we talked about the fundamentals both in the terms of the game of golf, but more importantly, infinitely more importantly, the fundamentals in the Christian faith. And so we welcome you, Links family, and especially to our guest, Dennis Darville, along with Jeffrey Cranford, our president at Links. And so, Jeff, good to see you again.
You too, Didi.
I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts regarding the first letter of our Links acrostic, which obviously is L, which actually is followed. You can see this on our website. It's followed by loving God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving your neighbor as yourself, which Jesus tells us is the greatest commandment of all. Jeff, talk to us about this.
Well, I got to tell you, Dennis, love ultimately is the foundation to the other four that we'll be looking at: integration and networking and kindling compassion and things that we'll talk about over the coming weeks. Love is everything. Love is passion. But love has to be motivated. There has to be a motivation to love. Until we've understood in its fullness what God has done for us, we don't love back. We can say you should love. It's no different than in the golf game. I remember, and you remember as well, when you first picked up that golf club. I remember your son, Jono, man. I remember when he was 2, some of his first words were golf. Yeah. And there builds a passion for the game. Yeah, it could be a drive you hit right down the middle. It could be the first birdie putt you make. Something clicks and you turn from I've got to go practice to I cannot wait to get out and hit some balls, or I can't wait. You just fall in love, and that's essentially a core fundamental. You don't love God, it is impossible to follow Him. You'll do it out of obligation. Anything done out of obligation is misery. We all know it. We love God. I think of the Apostle Paul in his letter to the Corinthians. He said, I make it my ambition to be pleasing to Him. Why? I'm driven by this passionate love. I just want to be pleasing to the Creator of my soul.
Yeah. So, verse of all verses, virtually everybody knows John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whoever believes in Him will not perish but have everlasting life. Christian faith starts with God loving us, and then in turn we respond with love back to Him, right? It's not that we loved Him first, He loved us first.
Well, we're called to be image bearers. A lot of people don't understand why were you created? We were created to reflect the glory of God. So as He loved us, we reflect that love into culture. And for us, of course, at Links, that could be our golf community. We're out playing 9 holes with somebody, and it's not, hey, I used to have guys come to me all the time, Dennis, and they would say something to the effect of, that guy's really upset. Should I address him because he's cursing while I'm playing? I said, wait a minute. That is not the tip of the sword in loving that guy. It's inviting him over to your house, having some dinner, getting to know his family, finding out he's got a sick child, taking some food, sending a letter, handwritten notes. There's a million different ways we can reflect God's love. This is a letter. This is a letter to us. Send a letter. Send a handwritten note to somebody you play golf with suffering. Those differentiate you from the rest of the culture, which is very quid pro quo. So the L in our acrostic is to love God first. You've got to love Him passionately, recognizing He first loved us, as the Bible says. Then we reciprocate that by really imaging God into a fallen culture, Dennis, and then things begin to happen. People begin to want what you have. You can't give out what you don't possess. Right?
So the first letter in Links is obviously L, and L stands for loving God first and then loving others as you love yourself. It's foundational to all that we are, and we hope that we can convince you that loving Christ, loving others is the best foundation, the most important fundamental for all the other.
Everything else flows out.
Everything flows out of that. So it was really good to see you again on this Friday morning. We look forward to having some time with you next Friday as we consider the fundamentals in our Links acrostic.